This feature is brought to you by DuPage Credit Union.
Let's take a closer look at Naperville Central boys basketball. At the beginning of the season, no one was quite sure what to make of the Redhawks, a team featuring many new and unproven faces. It also doesn't help that a trio of players on the team also play football, a sport that has some overlap with the hoop season. Kristin Gitchell explores the rocky start that has blossomed into a promising present.
Football and basketball, two completely different sports with separate seasons. But what happens if you're a two-sport athlete and the football team makes it deep into the playoffs, forcing you to miss the beginning of the basketball season? Well, at Naperville Central High School, 3 student athletes know this transition well.
When you're in football, you go from averaging running 10 to 20 yards a game, and then in basketball, you're going up and down the court, and it's such a difference as an athlete.
Last year, the Redhawks football team was crowned 8A champions, pushing its season through Thanksgiving. This year, the players made it to the quarterfinals on November 15th, making them miss the first 3 weeks of training camp.
It's tough. I think the thing that's hardest is like your shot on offensively, because to get your basketball shot really down, it's all just practice and every day in practice. Pretty well after my first game, I was kind of rough. I missed a ton of shots, but after that, I got into it. And then once you kind of compete and you're on defense and stuff like that, your shot starts to fall, and then it's easier.
I'd say it took me about 2.5, 3 weeks to adjust. I mean, I feel like now I'm still adjusting to it. Like, I think I'm playing at my best now. And maybe without football, I would have been playing my best maybe 2.5 weeks ago. But just trying to adjust, I'd say 3 weeks into it, I got back in the grooves.
Conditioning and technique weren't the only things these athletes needed to do to get back on track. They also had to learn the playbook.
We did have to start over and review a lot of what we already had put in, but luckily those 2 guys, Manny and Matthew, were with us last year, and just playing all summer. They had a pretty good idea of what we wanted to do and what we were going to start with, but they still had to kind of start from scratch.
Even though they had to start over, transitioning from a winning sport has its advantages.
I think just making the playoffs and then having success in the playoffs only gives them confidence going into another sport. So I think Matthew Meyer and Manny Rugamba and Jack, when they came to basketball, there was just a little more confidence about them. They all had successful years, and they had a great year as a team. So, and that carries over to the next sport, which is basketball.
The changeover went better than expected, as the Redhawks went 11-4 in their first month of play. Their next goal? To go just as far in basketball as they did in football.
It's definitely something you strive for. I mean, Naperville Central sports is like, we don't like to lose at all. We do have a lot of success. So with the football, the way things ended and not the way we wanted it, coming into basketball, we really wanted to be successful and bounce back. I mean, I know it's different sports, but you always want to win when you're competing.
Reporting from Naperville Central, I'm Kristin Gitchell for Naperville Sports Weekly.